How to understand that your faith is weakening? This question should worry every Muslim, because Iman is not a constant value, it is either intensifying or weakens. The first alarming bell is cooling the heart to worship. When the prayer turns into a formality, when the reading of the Qur'an does not bring the former joy, when the dua becomes mechanical, these are clear signs of weakening of faith. The heart no longer trembles at the mention of Allah, and sins cease to bother as before. The second sign is the loss of interest in Islamic knowledge. If earlier you sought to learn more about religion, and now it seems boring or unimportant if the passage of lessons or lectures does not cause remorse, your Iman needs urgent strengthening. The third dangerous symptom is a frivolous attitude to sins. When small sins no longer seem dangerous, when the thought this is just a little sin appears, when you no longer feel that acuteness of guilt after an incorrect act, Vera clearly shakes. The fourth sign is the cooling of relations with righteous people. If communication with God-fearing brothers and sisters became a burden, if they are drawn to those who are far from religion, if the environment gradually changes to a less religious one, this is an alarm for your Iman. The fifth alarming bell is excessive enthusiasm for worldly. When thoughts are constantly busy with money, career, entertainment, and the remembrance of Allah goes into the background, when the calculations and plans do not include Ahirata, faith is clearly not in the best condition. The sixth sign is the disappearance of gratitude. If you stop noticing the mercy of Allah, if you begin to perceive them for granted, if you immediately grumble in difficulties and indignant, this speaks of the weakening of Iman. The seventh symptom is the loss of hope for the mercy of Allah or, conversely, excessive self-confidence in His forgiveness. When you sin with the thought Allah will still forgive, or when you fall into despair, thinking that your sins will never be forgiven, both of these states testify to the problems with faith. The eighth sign is a lack of shame. When you can calmly watch the forbidden, discuss obscene topics, behave dissolved, it means that the light of faith in your heart is faded. The ninth alarming signal is the abandonment of the Sunnah. If what was previously done with love and diligence, for example, additional prayers, post on Mondays and Thursdays, reading certain dua, now it seems unnecessary, this is a sign of weakening of faith. The 10th indicator is irritability and bad disposition. When the character deteriorates, when quarrels become more frequent, when it is difficult to restrain anger, this is also a consequence of the weakening of Iman. The 11th sign is a formal attitude to religious responsibilities. When you do everything for a checkmark, without sincerity, without awareness, faith in danger. The 12th symptom is a lack of fear of the future. When you stop thinking about the ship, about the grave, that you will appear in front of Allah, it means that Iman dulled. The 13th sign is the termination of the call for good. If it no longer worries what happens to the Ummah, if you look indifferently at the spread of sin, Vera weakens. The 14th alarming bell is a love of fame and window dressing. When you do good deeds for the sake of praise, when you are upset, if your actions are unnoticed, this is a heart disease. The 15th and most dangerous sign is the feeling that everything is in order with your faith when you do not see any shortcomings in yourself. The Prophet taught us that a true Muslim always doubts his Iman, always checks and strengthens him. If you are sure that your faith is strong and does not need to be tested, this is the most alarming signal of all. But it is important to remember, the awareness of the problem is the first step towards its solution. Allah in the Qur'an says, "Verily, Allah does not change the position of people until they change themselves." Having noticed these signs in yourself, do not despair, but act. Increase worship, surround yourself with righteous people, strive for knowledge, more often remember death and Ahirata, analyze your condition. Vera is like a plant. It dries without care, but it is worth starting to water it, and it will blossom again. Let Allah strengthen our Iman and make us among those who follow the direct way.